interpreting a pointer or something. So we can see those work, and then somehow accidentally, oh, I know what that is. This is my listen, my client. So this is sitting in the register when I push this thing, right? It's still sitting on the stack, so I get that. So we get that, and then, oops. And then just for completeness, we can actually use the network version to do slide 45, and we can do our find sock code. So this is where I specify my client port, and when I go there, then it's going to go through all of the possible connected file descriptors for where my socket came from and find it. So you can see it kind of rolls through, and it finds out that it was socket descriptor 5 or 6 or so, whatever, some low one, and it connects. So the find sock does that. All right, so all the code actually works. The int90 is working just fine, and this is on. Oops, where can I see that? Probably in Etsy release. So this is on Solaris 10, and this is the 8.7. So sometime prior to that, the software interrupt stuff started working. All right, so come back to this. All right, so we noted the size, right? They're fairly low. Here's our bind shell, here's our callback, here's our find sock. All right, so now do a metasploit size comparison. So this int software method is at least 10% smaller in these 3 cases. I didn't go through and do the add user to Etsy password case or whatever, right? But these are the 3 main types of widely used shellcode, the bind sock, the find sock, and the callback. So we can see that we get at least 10% improvement on this. All right, so some other tidbits. Here's where you can find some information on, again, how to play at home. When you're searching through source for this stuff, sometimes it's easier to download it and use your own searching instead of using whatever's built into Solaris. So you can check out Open Solaris via SVN. It's about 1.5 gigs, but then you can use your own finds and fgreps and locates and whatever else to find the source that you're looking for. All right, and there's some more references. So other than that, open to questions. Is that a hand? Yes. You're right in front of a light, so I can't really see you.
Did you have any problems with different CPUs? When we did this, we ended up having it work on some computers, not other computers, because CPU differences.
Because of CPU differences? To tell you the truth, I kind of noticed that this worked and kind of ran with it. So where's the testing occurred? With my testing, I've tested in different versions of VMware. So I've tried it in server. That computer that I have is probably server 1.0.3 VMware Workstation, what we're using here. I've tested it in QEMU, and I've tested it on a Dell 8400, and that's the only bare hardware I've tested on. So is that what you were asking? What's that? Older Intels, this does not work. That I won't totally discount that, but that doesn't really make sense. That question almost doesn't parse because where the int91 comes from is in the source. It has nothing to do with the CPU. So as long as it's a CPU that has GDTs and IDTs and has this segmented model, which it has to for this other types of shellcode to work because of the way you're manufacturing the FLAR call for the other shellcode. You'd have to be doing some weird compilation that says, if this old CPU, then don't compile this method of libc, which would be a pretty weird thing to do. But yeah, so yeah, it's all weird. So, but we all know Solaris stuff's kind of weird anyway, so I don't know. They might do that. Anybody else? Is that Dave that was talking? Yeah. Yeah, okay. All right, well, thanks for coming out. What's that? For what? Okay, so the first thing if you want to learn shellcode, don't buy any assembly books. Because all the assembly books are like, okay, you're programming in DOS, so when you do this stuff in assembly, you have this DOS environment, and you can make these assumptions, which you don't have. Right? So no assembly books at all, honest to God. There is a book out there called Shellcoder's Handbook.